So in the process of making my rear tire tubeless, gotta first take out this strap here, which is not really airtight, so that's gotta come off. Okay, at that point once you got that beading out, then you can wipe it down. There'll be a lot of dust here, and you're going to use some acetone to wipe it out. You take out any residues that may have built up there, so that when you put your tape on, it sticks securely. Okay, so once you put the tape on, make sure you press down those right and left edges so the tape tacks nicely with no bubbles or anything like that. It's not too difficult to do, as long as when you're putting the tape on, you're putting on a bit taut and you keep some tension on it as you're laying it down, and it tucks away nicely under the ridges where the tire is going to grip, so that's okay. Okay, so the tape is on, all good. You made sure the tape is bedding in, tacking properly. Then you got to look for where the valve stem must come through, and then all you need to do is to take a screwdriver or something very narrow and punch a hole right at where the valve stem is supposed to go. And you make sure you don't slit it with a knife, because it creates that when you use a knife, it actually slits it open, which means it can tear open further. But if you use something like a flat screwdriver or even a thin star screwdriver, it leaves a round hole, which means the edges of the hole are still intact. That's all you need, and you can push the valve stem down there. Okay, so once the valve stem is in, you then got to put this little O-ring in through here to seal it from the outside, and then you put your little nut on, and it will seal down on the O-ring, and that will create the seal on the valve stem. On the other side it looks like that. Yeah. Also important is just to hand tighten that goodie. You don't want to drive it with the pliers or anything. You don't want to put too much pressure on that O-ring. You want it to seal. Okay, then once the tire wall is seated fine, you're going to take out the valve core with that little tool there, and the valve is going to look open like that, and then you've got your liquid with a narrow spout, and it'll fit neatly into that open valve, and you fill in about 125 mils. Okay, valve core back. Keep the tire in that position, because you remember your tire walls are not sealed on the edges of the rim yet. Now you got to pump up until you hear a nice pop on the tire walls against the rim. So I pumped it up to 3 bar, no leaks, and it allows the tire wall to seal up nicely against the rim side. And I might let some air out down to 2.5, say 2.3. But at the moment, yeah, new tires, tubeless, Bob's your uncle.